Somebody's ready to play this morning, huh? What do you got? Today's another shop day. I'm back here working on my mobile feed wagon, and this has got to get done. You know, we're getting to where I'm going to need this in probably a week or maybe two. So I'm not sure how far I'm going to get with it today, but my hope is that I can take one or maybe both of these bunk feeder panels and get them mounted up here on the side of the trailer. Then this thing will really start to take shape. That's what we're doing today on Farmertylerranch. I've got the trailer sitting pretty level now, front to back, and this is kind of critical because I need to take a measurement, see how high the frame is up off the ground, and then I'll be able to figure out how much I need to cut down the sides of these feeder panels. We're sitting about 16 inches off the ground to the bottom of the frame, and I want the feed bunk itself to be no taller than like 28 inches. So 16, we can add another 12 to this to get the proper height. But this is 18. I am gonna have to cut some of that off, which I was really trying to avoid doing, but as I look at the feeder panels here, this is actually not a bad thing. These things have been sitting in the mud and manure for who knows how many years, and the bottoms are kind of starting to rot out anyway, so this might actually be a blessing in disguise. We'll cut and remove all of that rotten metal, and then we'll just be welding good solid metal to good solid metal, and the way that we're going to use these now, they'll never be down in the mud anymore, so they should last for a long time. So the trick here is actually figuring out how to cut these things. I could do it with the torch, I could do it with the plasma, I could do it with a grinder, which I really don't want to do. So we got to figure this out because it's a very long cut that needs to be straight, but then you're also cutting through flat bar and pipe the way these are constructed. They're built pretty well, which is nice for using them, but when we got to cut them, then it makes it a little harder. So I think the thing to do is to get these up on some stands so that they're a little bit easier to work on, and then we'll kind of figure out where to go from there. need me? Oh, good. Well, after looking at this a couple different ways, I've decided that I'm going to try to cut it with the torch. The reason for that is, number one, trying to do this with the grinder just makes me not even want to do it. That would be a nightmare. The plasma cutter would be good, except for two reasons. The plasma cutter likes clean metal, which this is not, and the plasma cutter does not like cutting through multiple pieces of metal, which this is. So I think the torch is going to be the best choice. The only potential problem that I see is that I've got like this much oxygen left in that tank, and I'm not sure that I'm going to have enough gas to finish this cut. If I don't, then I'll probably just finish cutting the plate with the plasma cutter and then come back through with the recip saw and cut through the bars. And I might even have to do that anyway with the torch. I don't know if the torch will blast all the way through the bars. We'll just kind of have to see. All right, well, I guess I was a little lower on oxygen than I had even expected because the torch is just not doing it. I guess the next best thing here is to get the plasma cutter and just see what it'll do. I don't think it'll cut all the way through these pipes, but like I say, I can come back with a reciprocating saw or something else and cut through the pipes. But first, let's just try to cut through this sheet. One piece at a time. Well, it's really starting to look like something now. The only bad thing is at this point, even though I've got like 100 clamps holding this thing on, there's still not really a lot holding it. I got a couple of pieces of angle iron clamped to it as well to sort of act as like stabilizer legs. But what I really need to do is get the other piece cut and mounted up here, and then I can start tying them together. What's going to be really advantageous about doing things this way is it kind of boxes the whole frame of this trailer and makes everything a lot stronger and less twisty, I guess. The frame on this right now, like if you step on it, it just twists and bends. But I think once we get everything on here and tied together, it's going to be a lot stronger. So I think I have admired this long enough. Time to get started on the other side. With both sides on, you guys can see this is pretty wide. I know a lot of people are going to probably say that it's too wide, but I think that as far as a cow can reach through on one side and then the other side, there might be a little bit in the middle that they can't reach, but if that's the case, I'm not too worried about it, because for one, that'll kind of slow them down eating the hay, and for two, when I slide the new bale in, it'll kind of bunch all that up on the end and they'll be able to get it eventually. So I think we're in good shape. This is really starting to take shape, and I mean, I can see what it's going to look like, and I'm getting pretty excited. But it's dinner time, and I think this is a pretty good place to quit. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.